Great. So thanks everybody for being here today. My name's Chris. I work in the Global Opportunities team at Cardiff University. More specifically, I oversee our international summer programs, and that's what we're really going to focus on today. So what we are basically trying to do is to get as many students to spend time abroad as possible as part of their time at Cardiff University. There's a lot of reasons for this. But the primary driver, the main focus behind what we do is to enhance your employability, and the employability benefits of spending time abroad are really quite important and quite key. You can see them on the screen. There's been a lot of research into this area recently around how important spending time abroad is, and what that research has found is that students who have been on an international experience were as much as 28% more likely to get a first in their degree than peers in their class who hadn't, 7% more likely to be in a graduate job, 18% less likely to be unemployed, and also earning on average 6% more than their peers who hadn't been abroad. And to cover on a little sort of bits of information there as well, that 64% of employers think that international experience is important, and 92% of employers look for transversal skills such as problem solving, tolerance and confidence, and that kind of links in with the section on the left there about the skills that you develop from spending time abroad on one of these programs. It is things like intercultural awareness, increased confidence, problem solving, and not only problem solving in a different culture and possibly in a different language as well. And it really does demonstrate a global mindset. It shows that you're sort of outward thinking and willing to do something a little bit different, and to sort of take on something that perhaps your peers aren't. On top of all of those skills and the benefits, which are quite obvious, it's also an incredible opportunity to get to spend time abroad. When are you ever going to get the chance to go away for 3, 4, 5 weeks during the summer? Thinking when you're employed, are you going to get this type of opportunity, particularly when we're going to give you money to support your placement as well? So it kind of is a bit of a once in a lifetime opportunity, which I think is something you should definitely consider. So as I mentioned, there is funding available, and we have funding available to support students on all of our summer programs. The funding is generous and is intended to offset the costs that you would incur from spending time abroad and going on one of our placements. The bursaries range from £300 to £2,800, and that will depend on which program you take part in and where it is. We do have funding available from the Turing scheme, which is a new UK government funding scheme this year. There is also significant additional funding for students from disadvantaged backgrounds, which does cover quite a wide range of areas. A lot of the programs that we offer and that we promote include accommodation within the cost. Some will also include your transport in country, and also meals can be included too. My best advice is to check each individual program page for full details, and I'll run you through that a little later. So as I mentioned, we're talking about international summer programs. These are organised through the Global Opportunities team. And this is where students can undertake a range of study, work or volunteer opportunities with a lot of partners that we have around the world. We also offer virtual programs. So if travel is a little bit difficult, or if it's something that you're not too sure about, or it might have other commitments that you cannot, you can't fit a placement into, then virtual programs could also be an option, and I'll talk about those as well a little later. All of these programs are not credit bearing, so what that means is they don't count towards your degree. That means it's a really good opportunity to do something completely different. You don't necessarily have to do something related to your course, although you may wish to. It's entirely up to you. But it's a really good opportunity to, as mentioned at the start, immerse yourself in a different culture, make some new friends, potentially learn a little bit of a new language, and fundamentally enhance your career prospects. Our minimum requirement in terms of duration is 2 weeks. So most of our programs are sort of 3-4 weeks. Some are a little bit longer. So there is good flexibility in terms of duration as well. So we break our summer programs down into three main strands, which are study, internships, and volunteering. So these are available to all undergraduate students. The main eligibility criteria are that you can't have spent time abroad already as part of your course, and if you have a mandatory component abroad, then you will receive funding for that. So that generally will take priority. If you are a final year student, then we do have some opportunities available to you. They just have to finish before you graduate, which is in the middle of July. So all undergraduate students are eligible, subject to those conditions. So I'll talk first about summer study. This is a really good opportunity to, first and foremost, experience a different education system. This will be doing a study placement, and it can be something connected to your degree, or it can be something completely different. This is quite popular with students who are learning a language, who maybe have started with Languages for All here in Cardiff and want to further their learning in that language. We have students go to Europe, in particular, Spain, France, to do language courses. Equally, you might want to go and do a culture program in Canada, or in potentially other places such as Colombia and Malaysia, where we've had students go before. But essentially, the rule of thumb here is you can generally go anywhere you would like to go, as long as there is a course being run by a recognised university, which fits our minimum requirements of 2 weeks or longer. So very, very sort of high in terms of flexibility. If there's something you've always wanted to consider studying or wanted to try, this is a really good opportunity to do that. We also offer a number of internships all around the world in places such as China, Malaysia. We also have Vietnam, Mexico, Germany. They're the main countries that we have internships this summer. We also work with Camp America and BUNAC on summer camps. You can also self-source an internship. So if you've got a contact or a family member who has a business overseas and they're willing to take you on, we can help support that as well. The main reason to do an internship is fundamentally to enhance your CV, getting global skills valued by employers, getting some genuine work experience in an international context, which is really going to help you stand out from the crowd. It's also a good opportunity to expand your network of connections, again, in the global context. And it's also a good way to explore a potential career path. You may have an idea what you want to do as a career when you leave university. You may not. So it's a really good opportunity to sort of have a go, try something. It may help rule something out, or it may help to kind of confirm what you're thinking. So either way, I think it's a really good opportunity to get that experience and to sort of help with your career planning. We also have a good number of volunteering projects, and volunteering is definitely the most popular option that our students will undertake. A really good way to challenge yourself. Some of these projects are in particularly excuse me, challenging conditions. It isn't going to be home comforts, that's for sure. Some of the sleeping arrangements might be a little bit different to what you're used to. Some projects, they may not have sort of hot running showers as frequently as you would like. So this is a really good way to challenge yourself, but also while making an impact. So all of the projects that we offer, we make sure that they are ethical, that they are sustainable, and that they are making a genuine impact on the local communities. We try to make sure that they are empowering to the local communities. So it's helping to raise education and to raise awareness within local communities in order to empower the locals to be able to kind of develop where they live as much as anything. It's also affordable. A lot of these projects come with accommodation included in the cost, as well as food and transport in country. So generally speaking, there's a project fee. Then it's sort of just travel to get there, which makes up the total cost. A lot of the volunteering projects are group projects. So again, if you're a little bit daunted by traveling on your own, then volunteering is probably a good option to look at, because, as I say, a lot are group projects. You'll have other students from Cardiff, sometimes other students from other universities. So it's a good opportunity to make some new friends. You will pick up a bit of the local language no matter where you go. And projects this summer are in places including Fiji, Japan, Thailand, Uganda, India, and more. And they are all listed on the internet, which I will come to in a second. So that's kind of the in-person placements covered for this summer. As I mentioned, we also offer virtual programs, which is something that we've very recently developed since the pandemic struck. We haven't been able to send students abroad on optional programs for obvious reasons. So we've worked with some of our existing providers to develop some virtual programs. We've had some study programs take place where students have undertaken remote study, particularly in the fields of business. The rule of thumb here is the same as in person. If you find a program that is running virtually at a university, you can get in touch with us and we'll tell you what you need to do to help to get the funding for that. More common has been our virtual internships and skills programs. With the internships, you would intern remotely for an international company or an organization, and this would be arranged for you by a provider. These can be flexible. These can be as short as 2 weeks and as long as 12 weeks. So you can kind of fit your hours per week around whatever suits you best. And we have funding available to cover participation fees. And we also offer a number of skills programs, which is a good opportunity for you to develop some employability skills, some digital competency skills, all done online. There are a lot of benefits to virtual programs, which it might not be something you've considered before, but the main benefit is the flexibility. As I say, a lot of these programs, you can kind of do them in your own time. You can negotiate which hours you work, which week. So there is the flexibility to complete the program around any other commitments that you might have. And I know that in the summer, you might need to work to raise funds for next semester. You might have other responsibilities. You might be have caring responsibilities and so forth. So this is a good opportunity to still get this kind of experience whilst fulfilling any other commitments that you have. We've been very insistent with our providers that they include varied content to provide a cultural experience. We know that we're never going to replicate an in-person experience exactly, because you can't replicate sort of just walking down the street and taking in the culture and that kind of thing. But we do make sure that there are cultural activities included in the programs. It might be a weekly Zoom call with somebody from the company in which you're working. You might have a cultural mentor based in a different country. It might be zooming into students in other countries. So we try to make sure that there's cultural exchange still taking place. And it's a really good experience in working digitally and remotely, which is something which is incredibly important, particularly with blended working and so forth becoming so normal. Also a good way to develop some of those skills that we mentioned at the start: intercultural awareness, networking, and also independent working, because it is very different working remotely to working in an office environment. So again, it's just a good way to get that kind of experience. I think one of the main benefits is the cost, and because there's no travel required, you can do it from the comfort of wherever you choose. It is a much more affordable way of taking part in an international experience. Generally speaking, all the program fees are covered by us for virtual programs, so it probably won't cost you anything other than the time that you put into it. And we've had some students do these placements over the last 2 summers, and we've had some really good feedback. Students talking about real world experience and relevant experience whilst being enjoyable as well. That's kind of the whistle stop tour of and an overview of everything that we've got and how it all works. There's lots of ways in which you can find out more. We have appointments specifically for summer programs on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the afternoons. You can book these using your Student Futures account. If you log into Student Futures account, you'll find all of the appointments there. We also have general advice sessions on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday afternoons for anything related to going abroad. And you can also search the intranet for Spend Time Abroad. I'm just going to give you a quick run through of the intranet and what to look for. And we're also available via email. So when you navigate to the student intranet, this is what the homepage currently looks like. If you pop into the search bar for Spend Time Abroad, as you can see there, and and click search, our page will come straight at the top there. So if you click on the Spend Time Abroad button, there's an overview, there's a video, and there's a few different pages. Where you can go is the next option, and then you see the two main options: opportunities as part of your degree, opportunities during the summer holiday. This is where all the information I've just talked about lives. So we've got virtual, study, work, volunteer. I'll show you some volunteering programs. This is where they are all listed. So you see Thailand, Fiji, India, Japan, the ones I briefly mentioned. So they're all listed there. This is generally how the pages look. This is the India program. You've got some key information on the program, tells you exactly what the program's all about. You've got the dates, who's the partner, what's the size of the team, all the costs, etc., etc. So all the information is on each individual program page. There's also how to apply now in the top right. So you click on that and it would take you through to the application process. So that's how volunteering works. I'll just quickly run through work internships as well. So again, there's a list of opportunities here. This is the internships. This is the Berlin option. Same again, it tells you all the costs and the funding, etc. There's a little video, it tells you how to apply. With this one, you would apply to the provider directly, and all the information is on the intranet. So we try to make it as straightforward as we can, and hopefully that all makes perfect sense. So yeah, just to reiterate, there's appointments available Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can email us. There's a good number of ways to get in touch with us. I'll now open to any questions. If anybody has any questions they wish to ask, and I'd be happy to take them either in the chat or in the Q&A, or if anybody wants to come through on video, that's absolutely fine. Just fire away.